Hello, hello. How goes? I know. There it is. I hit the right scene for once. It's crazy. Anyway, I am back again. I wasn't able to stream yesterday for reasons various. Primarily just because, oh boy, what a day. But hey, I will be going through the Shadowbringers monk quests, which will take me, honestly, depending on how much I have to read from Eric after the fact, could take me a minute, but shouldn't be more than an hour, I'd say. Then I unlocked the Yok Huy, the Mamool Ja, the and the Pelupelu. Yep, that's 4 things. Society quests, I'll be doing those. And we'll see where we're at time-wise after that. That'll probably bring me to about 2 hours. Then I'll probably end stream. I've been playing some Valheim, so like there's an excellent chance I just swap over to that for a bit, just because I'm gonna play it anyway. And there is some history of me randomly streaming Valheim. Those streams exist. They're buried deep now, but they're there. I don't know. I don't think any further ado is really required. Other than, you know, my wall of text I placed before the starting scene ended. You may avail yourself of that if you desire, but nothing of any great relevance in there. So I will get right into it. Hello, Eric. Ah, Arntel, excellent timing. I have a request to ask of you. Were it not, it is a simple task that shan't overburden your simple mind. In no small part, due to your valor, Alamigo has won free of Imperial tyranny, but something is afoot that gives me cause for concern. Not long ago, a soldier of the Resistance came asking after Wodarjelt's whereabouts. As you know, the buffoon was once a captain of the Resistance, and he had gathered under him like-minded men and women who burned with an all-consuming hatred for the Empire. While the inquiry may have been completely innocuous, we cannot discount the possibility that there are those who burn with hatred still, who mean to drag Wodarjelt back on the path of vengeance. Though the Wodarjelt as we know him now would not lend such an ear, he may not be given a choice, lest it turn ugly. I want you to find your brother monk and alert him to the dangers. The last time we saw Wodarjelt was in Alagana. If he isn't there still, the villagers may at least be able to direct you to him. Go quickly, Arndel. Cool. Same dialogue. Lol about. Oh shoot, it's Monk. You're that monk from before. Ah, the way you laid the corpse brigade low was just glorious. I wanted to become strong like you, so I went and joined the monkhood. Never once skipped training, I'm proud to say. Master Wodarjelt? Last I spoke with him, he mentioned that he was trying to find Theobald. Fellow disappeared while under the healer's care. Someone saw him staggering out of the village in the early hours. Was headed west, by the sound of it. Master Wodarjelt was trying to find Theobald. Fellow disappeared while... Cool, neat. What's your story? I'll never know. Ah, yes, I remember you, friend. Is there something you needed? Or need? Master Wodarjelt. He's been traveling around Eorzea, spreading the teachings of the monkhood. He comes back to Alagana from time to time to train our people, but I couldn't rightly say where he'll visit next. I'm guessing that the 2 Miquote friends are like taking over as like primary teacher then? Wait, aren't you Master Wodarjelt's master? Something like that, I guess? Looking for him, you say. He's not here at the moment, but he comes fairly often to train us. Though he's a hard teacher, he inspires hard work. Thanks to his guidance, I was able to earn my cloth. Right, his whereabouts. During his last visit, he said he was going to Little Alamigo next. If you hurry, he might still be there. I love repeat dialogue. Hello, Tachaka. Hello, other person whose name I refuse to fucking say. Master Argelt. Gah, I wish I knew what to say at times like this. Arndel, I did not expect to see you here. This grave, know you who lies here? I'm guessing Adri. It is the man who called himself Theobald, my closest brother Adri. We had brought him to Algana for healing, but he fled in spite of his wounds. He looked like a hunted man. So do witnesses say. I do not believe that. Adri was not one to flee. He had used the corpse brigade. He knew they would come for him. Rather than wait, he went to them, and now he is gone. I wanted him to live, to stand by my side again. I should have done more. You tried your best to have him see the light, like you did for us. You mustn't be so hard on yourself. Much has happened with you too, brother. That much is plain. Come, let me hear your tale. A hunter who found his path. The fuck is on my hand? Hang on. That's fucking ate a fucking Reese's, and I guess some of the fucking chocolate broke off the rim. Wash my hands, man. So, Lurik chose to sever ties with his kin. A resolve to which I can relate. I too choose my own path, spurned by blood in favor of faith. Your part in this tale impresses me also. To do battle in a world flooded with light. Yet again, I am reminded of your greatness. But my apologies. You've traveled far. Is there something you require? A soldier of the resistance seeks me. What could this purpose be? What? You don't suppose they're coming after those of Theodoric's line? It seems to me the resistance would be above such acts, yet I can offer no alternate explanation. Captain, it has been a while, sir. It has been a while indeed, but I am no one's captain. I have long left the resistance. Forgive me, sir, but old habits. It's hard to regard you as anything save my esteemed captain. But if that is not your preference, Master Argelt, may I ask you to accompany me to Ralgar's Reach? There's a matter we wish to discuss with you. Is that so? Very well then, lead the way. Her? T'Chaka, please wait here. I will return anon. Arntel, may I ask you to join me? You are well regarded in the resistance. Your presence would give me heart. Without further ado, then, let us be away. I mean, I can spot you the change for a teleport. I don't mind. Hold the fort, her. Never do anything fun, her. Zensta. Please. Okay, no. That's the same dialogue. Come on. I think it's slightly changed, but I do not care nearly enough. Zensta. As with so much in life, finally acquired after it no longer serves a purpose. I was instructed to wait here. What could it be that they wish to discuss? I would offer a guess, but that could actually just be my recollection seeping through. Sorry for keeping you. Oh, hey, Lise. I'm Lise Hext of the Alamigan Resistance. Thank you for coming all this way. Arendelle, don't tell me you know Master at Argelt. I taught him exactly half of everything he knows. Arendelle is a dear comrade. I owe him much and more. Maybe not quite half. Well, that makes it easier then. To get right to the heart of the matter, Master at Argelt, we wish to invite you to rejoin the Resistance. Under the Mad King and then the Garleans, the people of Alamigo lived in crippling fear and mutual mistrust. I'm rebuilding the nation. We want to create a place where folk can believe and support one another. A place where everyone is regarded as a friend. Even those who are kin to the Mad King. We should have reached out to you earlier, I know, but we feared that doing so would incite those who plotted to return to the old rule. It's quite alright, Commander. I know your intent is good and true. However, I cannot rejoin the Resistance. I should serve my nation as a humble monk. This I have sworn to myself. A man named Theodred never existed. There was ever only with Argelt, and he wishes to restore that which was once lost, the teachings of the Fist of Ralgar. I see, then you must do as your heart tells you. Let's try this again. I put this request to Argelt of the Fist of Ralgar. I want you to train the soldiers of the Resistance. Though we want our freedom, we must be prepared to fight to keep it. And I believe that your techniques would serve us well. I've never trained properly myself, and for what it's worth, I'm very keen to learn. And I should be honored to teach. Great, we're in your debt. If I might make a request of my own, may I visit the Temple of the Fist? I would pay my respects. Of course, you hardly need my permission for that. Come on, Arendelle, let's all go together. Being here brings back memories. I remember the high priests, my brother and sister monks, all of them gone now, in fire and smoke. But you survived, like the temple's stout stones, and thanks to your efforts, the faith has begun to rise from the ashes. Not my efforts alone. All I have achieved I owe to many others. Professor Eric. No, never mind. T'Chaka, and not least of all, Arendelle. I couldn't have come this far on my own either. Like you, I had dear comrades to prop me up and push me forward. Also including Arendelle. And I'll never stop forging on for Alamigo. Our paths may differ, but our goals are one and the same. There's no more need for words. Arntel, the professor worries for me. Please return to him. Let him know that all is well. Nope. Nope. Fucking... Why? I hate you. You know what? Fuck it. There we go. Take me to the Goldsmith Guild. Ah, you are returned. Were you able to find Master? Were you able to find Wodarshelt? I see. I'm pleased to hear that his efforts to revive the Fifth of Ragar proceeds apace. Of course, it will still take considerable time for the faith to take root across the land. But Wodarshelt is young and determined. The day will come when he realizes his dream. To think that it was none other than Curtis Heck's daughter that sought him out. A woman who embraces her lineage and a man who rejects it. Viewed thus, their paths could not be more different, but as they have discovered, their goals are one and the same. Alamigo is stronger for their cooperation. In any case, it appears my concerns were unfounded. My thanks for laying my fears to rest. For a while, though, I believe I will observe these two souls in their future endeavors. After all, I am nothing if not observant. That lingering bubble fucking scared the shit out of me. For all my pursuit of creation's mysteries, for all my research into myriad phenomenon, I could provide nary an explanation for the final days. It seems this scholar still has much and more to learn. Something dynamis, something medion, something. It's my turn to ramble with babbles. Anyway. Oh no. Well, let's get through it. I need hardly mention that Sildith civilization is now centuries dead. Sildith was plunged into chaos in the wake of King Lalawefu's demise, or the King of Springs as he was known. Despite the success of his economic reforms, the tax increase he imposed did not sit well with his subjects. This coupled with a prolonged sequence of untimely droughts fomented unrest among the people, and in time sparked violent unrest throughout the kingdom. Sildith was not alone in its want for water. Ul'dah, too, felt the effects of the droughts. The Sultan at the time, Sasagan ul Sisigan. Ah, but perhaps you recognize the Ul name. The current Sultana, Nanamo ul Namo, represents the second Ul dynasty. She is Sasagan's distant descendant. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. Right, so Sasagan ordered an attack on Sildith to claim the water resources discovered as a result of Lalawefu's flood control acts. But the royalty and nobility of Sildith would not remain idle. They mobilized their nation in the face of this crisis, and the people fought with great tenacity against the Ul'dah threat. The full strength of both nations met in battle, and the end result was an arduous, protracted conflict. Though arguably more desirable than surrender, the ruling Sildin elite took little pleasure in having succeeded in uniting the theretofore querulous citizenry to fight. For, despite all they accomplished, every day spent waging war dragged the nation's financial affairs, which you will recall had only just been brought under control, back into the mire. To bring an end to the long military deadlock, Sildith devised and set about implementing a perverse yet ambitious strategy. It sought to zombify the deceased among its army, that they might fight again. At first, it appeared to have worked, yet at the height of hostilities, the Sildins lost control over their necrotic creations. The undead turned on their masters, and before long, the zombification had spread to a majority of the population. Ever knowing an opportunity when they saw one, the Uldans used this to justify their war, now proclaiming it a crusade to send the zombies to Thal. After seeing to the extermination of all zombies outside the city, they then sealed the gates of Sildet, entrapping both the living and dead within. And that, in brief, is a history of the fall of Sildet. I only pray that your feeble mind is able to retain it. But you're wrong! It was an atrocity carried out by Ulda! I shall tell you yet again the study of Aether. As I laboriously explained, Aether is not only the source of all magics, but also the font of all life. Yet despite its ubiquity, it remains imperceptible to the senses of man. When a living thing, I think we read this as part of the crystallization. Yeah, a theory, not the only manifestations, ghosts and stuff. Yeah, we already read this. Yeah. Yeah. The Bloodshore. Very well. Prepare to learn all you ever cared to and more of the land known as the Bloodshore. The sanguine nomenclature derives from a truly horrific battle which took place there some 50 years ago. The two greatest pirate fleets of the day, the League of Lost Bastards and the followers of Rykard Mistbeard. Or, yeah, Rykard. Rykard! Together! Met one another at sea just off the coast. To this very day, none can say with certainty who shot first, nor why. Mayhap there was no good reason at all. All know that the two pirate leaders loathed one another, and when dealing with pirates, little more than that is needed to ignite a war. By the by, it just so happens the head of the League of Lost Bastards, one Blowfist, was father to the current admiral of Limsa Lominza. It is told the old sea dog wished for his daughter to take command of his fleet upon his death. But that is a tale for another time. Suffice it to say, a shot was fired, and the mightiest pirate armadas in the realm came to fight one of the bloodiest naval battles in the Eorzean history. All told, 7 galleys were sunk that day, and dozens of smaller warships. 4 of the 7 galleys went down in mere moments. When at last the smoke cleared and the cannons fell silent, hundreds lay dead on the ocean's bottom. It is said the foam of the tides was tinged red with blood for days after the battle, and bodies washed ashore for weeks to follow. So as you can see, geography and history are inextricably linked. Regrettably, the region has recently been purchased by a wealthy Uldan merchant named Gege Bruju. He has chosen to turn a blind eye to the land's history and has taken to calling it Costa del Sol. And I believe I will stop there concerning Bloodshore and allow your feeble brain to process all it has heard. The Firesand Banks have a rich history indeed. They are found on the west shore of the Velodina River, at the foot of a now extinct volcano overlooking the Rothlich Shroud. The area is a sedimentary basin formed by the deposit of the fine silts and sands carried by the river. Today it falls within Gridanian territory. When in days past it belonged to my own home nation, Alamigo. A century ago, King Manfred came to power in Alamigo and decided to expand the nation's territory in order to promote economic growth. To that end, he ordered the Alamigan army to undertake large-scale campaigns that would eventually lead to the onset of the Autumn War. Naturally, such action was met with vehement opposition from the other nations. Gridania, fearing encroachment along its border with Alamigo, placed the renowned lancer Vainchelion in command of its standing armies, and war began. I don't think I pronounced that. Whatever. His opponent was Gailbarde, the great general of Alamigo, a fervent believer in the Fist of Raunger, and a man who enjoyed enormous popularity among the Alamigan people. The two leaders were loved by their troops, and at the outbreak of war, morale on both sides was very high. The armies clashed time and again all along the border, neither general yielding an inch. But in a galling twist of fate for Gridania, Vainchelion suddenly took deathly ill, and no victor emerged following the Battle of Firesand Banks. Vainchelion devised a new strategy. He ordered his forces to retreat to Camp Nine Knives, fully intending for Gailbarde to give chase. This would lure the Alamegans to terrain more favorable and familiar to the Gordanians. He died, however, before he was able to see his plan executed. Now, the man who would replace him, Osborne, was extremely ambitious and eager to prove his worth to the Seedseers. Having neither the mind nor patience for Ventillion's defensive war, however, he ordered a frontal assault on the Alamegan position. When Galbarde learned of this plan, if plan it may be called, he secretly deployed troops to the most vital points along the Firesand banks. The Gordanian forces had scarcely entered the area before they began to suffer heavy losses from highly coordinated Alamegan ambushes. In response, Osborne ordered a forced march, permitting his troops no rest for several days as he attempted to surge through the region. Eventually, exhausted, the Gordanians came to entrench themselves on a hill. But this is precisely what Galbarde had wanted. He surrounded the hill with 6,000 soldiers to deny the forest-born any hope of retrieving water, and then proceeded to rain down barrage after barrage of arrows upon the encampment. In this seemingly hopeless position, the morale of the Gordanians quickly dwindled. Following 2 failed attempts to break free, Osborne himself led the van in a third and final charge. In the end, Gordania was defeated. Osborne and several of his officers were captured, and the legendary staff Claustrum lent him by one of the Seedseers was taken. This abject defeat accounted for what little morale remained among his surviving troops, and they beat a desperate retreat to 5 hangs, with the relentless Alamegans harrying them every step of the way. Galbarde's victory brought him ever greater accolades from his country, and as a result, both he and the Fist of Ralgar came to wield considerable political power. And that is a brief history of the Firesand Banks. No, you needn't thank me. Knowing there is little less ignorance in the world is all the reward I require. East End is just that, the eastern end of the Black Shroud. The Autumn War marked the beginning of hostilities between Alamigo and Gordania. The first major victory in that war came at the First Battle of Tino-Lacroix, and it belonged to Alamigo. Defeated, the Gordanians retreated to the safety of 5 hangs. The front was splintered, and afterwards they would resort to opportunistic ambushes and the constant redeployment of troops to continue their resistance. Oh. Shit! It's gone! Huh! Well, that's not... Oh well. Where was I? As conditions, they demanded that all of the They demanded that all of the east and portions of the Central Shroud be relinquished, and perhaps more disturbingly, that the Seedseers be taken as wards of Alamigo, where they would be met with no harm. Needless to say, Gordania refused. Providence was to be delivered to the firstborn of the neighboring nation of Ishgard. Wary of Alamigo's ambitions for the region, the sea appealed to Limsa Lominsa and Ulda for aid. The 3 joined Gordania in their declaration of war against Alamigo and sent troops to reinforce the front, but this was far from a gesture of charity. It is easy to see what the motives of the sea were. Should certain sections of the Black Shroud be annexed to Alamigo, Ishgard's southern and eastern borders would become extremely vulnerable to a possible invasion. For their part, Limsa Lominsa and Ulda had virtually nothing to lose by entering into the war, and yet everything to gain by curbing the power of Alamigo in the realm. Even more, victory would place Gordania in their debt. And so it came to pass that these 4 great nations joined into a grand alliance to combat the advance of Alamigo. The fighting which was to follow would later be named the Second Battle of Tino-Lacroix. The heaviest and most devastating combat took place on a tract of land called East End. In the beginning, there were several small-scale skirmishes, but the Allied powers succeeded in foiling the stratagems of Alamigo at every turn. Feeling the tide begin to turn against them, Alamigo dispatched its pikemen, known far and wide for their effectiveness against mounted units, such as the Knights of Ishgard. To rally the troops even more, King Manfred himself took to the field to lead them. At first, it seemed as though Alamigo had succeeded in reversing its fortune, as the allies began a slow retreat towards East End. This was a clever ploy, however, designed to lure the pikemen into the dense growth of the forest, where the long polearms would be unwieldy and near useless. It was during these days the archers of Gordania would prove their value beyond the bow, singing the songs of heroism and glory in the field to bolster the allied troops. It is said that this gave birth to the Bard tradition. The archers of Gridania excelled at combat in the dense vegetation of the Black Shroud, and their arrows inflicted heavy casualties on the Alamegans. In the end, General Galbarde was slain, King Manfred severely wounded, and Alamigo completely and utterly defeated. And that is a brief summation of the history of East End, site of the end of the forest, and the end of the war both. Do you know, I can almost feel you getting less stupid, Arentel. Monks and the Fist of Ralgar are interesting in the same way as any other organized religion, a sad, pathetic, and humorous way. The brothers and sisters of the monkhood are those souls training in the service of Ralgar, god of destruction among the 12. The Fist of Ralgar is their order. This barbaric cult traces its origins back several centuries to Alamigo. That simpleton Widargelt is one of their number. The Fist teaches those foolish enough to listen that through rigorous training of the mind and body, and with constant invigoration and refinement, one can approach the sublimity of Ralgar himself. Such is their power of concentration that they are able to master the aether within their bodies and channel it in a manner that grants them immense destructive power. The monkhood insists on calling this internal essence spiritual energy or life force, but trust me when I say it is nothing other than aether. Endowed with this brutish, unthinking gift for hitting things very hard, the entire cult has evolved into a sort of clergy with martial proclivities. This was no doubt a result of their main temple being located in Garabania, a region plagued by warfare where knowing how to protect oneself is essential. As the years passed, however, what began as a simple group of religious fanatics fighting to protect themselves grew into an ambitious organization of religious fanatics taking part in the region's power struggles. Those in power in Alamigo grew... Those in power in Alamigo grew wary of these war priests who proclaimed all their fights to be fought in the name of a god, and who employed deadly force without slightest hesitation, and so, rather than make enemies of the monks, they declared instead to use them to their benefit. Through affiliation with the Alamegan royal family, the Fist of Ralgar was incorporated into the nation's standing army. This not only granted the monks a great deal of power, but furnished them with all the rights accorded protectors of the citizenry, and their political influence was still growing. The fate. I confess I find great joy in studying the demise of a religion, and even greater joy in recounting it. Holy fuck, dude. The power of the Fist of Ralgar grew unchecked in Alamigo, and it was... Dude literally just is like fucking r/atheist fucking condensed into an NPC. Sorry. The power of the Fist of Ralgar grew unchecked in Alamigo, and it was eventually named the state religion. After this, its influence over political, economic, and cultural spheres of life became even more considerable. Needless to say, this did not sit well with one and all. Among them was the last and most ugsome of Alamegan royalty, the King of Ruin, Theodoric. The rise of the Fist meant a potential rival for power, and he would not suffer the monkhood to encroach on his prerogatives. To counter their claims of religious righteousness, he simply conjured his own out of thin air, proclaiming that the throne was his by divine right, given him by the word of Nemea herself, master of Ralgar. He then banned the worship and likenesses of Ralgar and all other gods, and demanded that the prayers and praises of Alamigo be given to Nemea and her alone. In doing so, he sought to establish his own absolute, uncontested rule. Naturally, the Fist and other worshippers of Ralgar throughout the nation rose in protest, precisely as Theodoric had known they would. He used the uprisings as a pretext to imprison several high-ranking monks, whom he then tortured until they confessed to their order's plans to topple his rule. In 1552, of the 6th Astral Era, Theodoric led a vast army to the site of the monkhood's temple and surrounded it. Monks, novices, and devotees, including the elders, refugees seeking shelter after the fires of war had turned their homes to ash, servants and peasants hired to do no more than till the fields, none were left alive. The monks fought heroically, but were hopelessly outnumbered. With the massacre of that day, nearly all the monkhood perished. The elders, the keepers of the tradition and its knowledge, resided within the temple grounds, and it was thought that all versed in the ways of the chakra were lost. But then, what of this Widargelt simpleton? Just who is he? Perhaps the end of the Fist was not the end of the monks after all. I'm going to skip Silvertear Falls, and I'm going to go through these two next, and no, I should do it in order. My dear poor Arentel, what do you not know about what you do not know about Silvertear Falls could fill a book, and has multiple times over, I'm sure. Since ancient times, the falls of the region of Mordona in which they are located have been believed to be the seat of great spiritual energy, as less advanced peoples were wont to call it. So old are these beliefs that the tomb of Zande himself, the first emperor of Alag, was built deep beneath the surface of Mordona, in the hopes that the mystical power which resided under the lake would raise him from the dead. Oh, there are a number of legends and myths? There are any. Oh, no. Oh, there are any number of legends of myths surrounding the place. I think the oldest and most widely known would have to be that of the Dragon of the Falls. I do not claim to be a folklorist, but I can certainly provide the general tale. There was the birth of Althek, god of time among the 12, and in turn his younger sister Nemia, goddess of fate. And then there was water, and through it Silvertear Falls came to be at the center of all that was. Here was a source not only of water, but the font of all magic as well. Now, when water came into being, so too did the great dragon Midgardsormr. Brother Time and sister Fate, fearing the falls might fall into the hands of evil, ordered Midgardsormr their protector and warden. Much later, with the arrival of man, would Midgardsormr be worshipped as the guardian deity of Silvertear Falls. Have you been to Silvertear Falls, Arentel, or are you as untraveled as you are unread? Have you gazed upon the enormous dragon corpse frozen as a statue with wings outspread? If you have gazed upon Midgardsormr. I've also spoken to him repeatedly. Actually, I don't know. Possibly not. I think this dialogue came from before that dungeon. That tragedy is but 10 years old. After invading my home of El Amigo, the Garleans launched a fleet of airships led by the monstrosity Agrius. They flew for Silvertear Falls, knowing then to harbor the greatest concentration of Aether. And then, as those horrific instruments of evil loomed overhead, casting the dark shadow of death, the surface of the lake suddenly parted and burst skyward as Midgardsormr emerged to defend his waters. The battle between Midgardsormr and the Agrius has since come to be known as the Battle of Silvertear Skies. The dragon fought with divine strength and purpose, and after a fierce and grueling struggle, succeeded in bringing down the airship. As it fell into the lake, the impact caused the ceruleum on board to detonate, and Midgardsormr was killed. His corpse charred black in the conflagration. The structure formed by the wreckage of the Agrius and the entangled remains of Midgardsormr is now called the Keeper of the Lake. For many religious and mythological enthusiasts, it stands as proof of the existence of the gods. They are real. I killed them. For most people, however, it serves as a grim reminder of the horrific, dare I say, decidedly deicidal power of Garlemald. Why did the dragon appear that day? Was it truly the Midgardsormr, the legendary guardian of Silvertear Falls? Such questions and more remain unanswered. For my part, I make the entire debacle for the elaborate Garlean fabrication acted out to near perfection. But let us put aside dragons and empires and speak instead of mine own latest discovery at the lake. The ether of the area is in a extremely chaotic state. I had long thought this to be the result of the Battle of Silvertear Skies, but have learned that this is not the case. The disturbances I have observed do not all derive from a singular source. Beyond the imperceptible aether emitted by the Keeper of the Lake, there are even stronger ethereal waves coming from deep below the earth to the east. I studied them in great detail and learned that they are coming from a massive tower that was buried deep below the earth at the time of the battle, the Crystal Tower. To think I had stumbled upon this legendary structure in the very height of Allegan civilization technology, the shifting and grinding of the earth caused by the calamity woke the tower from its slumber of some 5,000 years. And, having since slowly risen from its earthen tomb, the tower pierces the skies once more. You must someday gaze upon it with your own eyes. It is truly a sight to behold. Yes, I can still recall the thunderous applause from my colleagues when I presented my theory of the tower. They were a great deal more grateful than you, that much is certain. There is a team of scholars who specialize in the study of all things Allegan. They are known as the Sons of St. Koinak. At present, they are focusing their efforts on testing the validity of this theory. I very much look forward to news of their findings. The last king of Elamia, as I likely explained, if you have ever bothered to ask me about the monks in the Fissuragar, the king of Ruin, Theodoric, was a ruthless despot and tyrant. It should come as no surprise, then, that he was the last king of El Amigo. But the tale of his rise and fall is the stuff we historians live for. Theodoric's lust for power was such that nothing less than absolute rule would appease him. Just a moment. Aye. To counter the political influence of the Fist of Rhalgr, he proclaimed his kingship to be the product of divine will, ordained by Nemea herself. What followed was a crusade which sought to exterminate the monks entirely. Yet it was the truly depraved acts of barbarism to come that would shake Alamigan society to its very core. The ensuing era of terror was what earned Theodoric the title King of Ruin. After the massacre at the Fist's main temple, religious opposition to Theodoric nearly disappeared altogether. He then began purges of the Alamigan royalty, seeing any and all potential pretenders to his throne dead and buried regardless of house, loyalties, or standing. Beheadings were commonplace, carried out daily. Before long, it looked as though Theodoric would have no heads left to take. But he then turned his wrath upon any soul with a claim to the throne, no matter how remote. After that, it was to be the empowered nobles and wealthy merchants. Fearing for their lives, they professed their innocence to the queen, pleading for her to stay her maniacal husband's hand. She attempted words to assuage his lust for power, turned lust for blood, but he was deaf to her appeals. Finding no recourse, she conspired with a group of nobles to murder Theodoric. Yet, before the genocide could take place, one among them betrayed their plot, and for their treason, the king saw them all less ahead. This only served to compound Theodoric's paranoia and insanity. Distrustful of all, his purges now became little more than random executions, claiming the lives of noble and beggar and all in between. And it's not difficult to imagine what transpired next. The palace became a despicable gathering of sycophants and backstabbers, and the common folks scarce left their homes, seeking heads on which to lay blame for worsening conditions. Theodoric turned the axe upon his most loyal followers. When the oppression became too much to bear, the people revolted and stormed the palace. The royal guard cast aside their vows and allowed the Alamegans to pass. A noble revolt for the best? No, false. It was the absence of leadership and solidarity in the wake of this chaos that prompted Garlemald to attack. In the end, Theodoric was lucid enough to judge suicide preferable to death at the hands of an angry mob. He ended his own life, and with it, his reign of ruin in his own bloodline. Or so it was thought at the time. But Theodored, a nephew of the king, was hidden by his mother in a remote temple of the Fist of Rhalgr, which had survived the purges, and thus he escaped his uncle's fury. And that is the history of the last king of Alamigo, and many a lesson there is to be learned from it. It is only a pity you are too dull to do so. For a time, all was routine, but Arjelt continued to impart his teachings of the Fist of Rhalgr in his homeland. Upon learning of the dire situation in Garlemald, however, he and his chief disciples promptly set forth for the imperial capital. Despite the opposition his faith had endured under the Empire, he is resolved to aid its people. Long gone is the man who once lived for naught but retribution. The elf, however, is very much alive and well. Ere he departed, I warned him to pack for the cold, only to be told that his training will keep him warmer than any garb can. I could only shake my head. As I understand it, he will be on the road for a while, and I know not when he will return. For now, we can but wish him well on his mission. As you know, following his defeat, Adri, or Theobald, his assumed role, was given to the care of the village healer. Alas, he vanished without a trace, nary a day later. In all likelihood, he feared reprisal from the Corpse Brigade, with whom he had entered into an unlikely and uneasy alliance. According to the Resistance, one of the Griffin's doubles approached brigade members with an eye to recruit them to his cause. Fair to say that the double was Adri. As the Mad King's favorite tool of terror, however, the brigade was feared and loathed by the masses. Its members knew that there would be no place for them in a new Alamigo. Edry exploited this fact, winning them over with the promise of reinstatement in return for helping him ascend his throne. Whether or not they believed him the rightful heir was immaterial. It was no opportunity to return to power, and they took it. Of course, Edry's plot came undone, and the Corpse Brigade fell with their employer to even deeper depths. Suffice it to say that they are not well pleased with their displeasure will find Adri first of all. This he anticipated, and thus he fled. Now, at about the same juncture, Adri vanished. A contingent of brigade members were sighted striking out of their hideout in the direction of Garabania. That is all I know, and perhaps all I wish to know. There we go. Monk is done. And in about an hour. So honestly, about what I was expecting. Actually, about the upper end. Dear fuck. So much reading. But next up is going to be the Pelupelu. What job should I do that as? It really does not matter, like, fucking at all. Probably isn't gonna even have me fight anything. I'm gonna do it as Red Mage. I'm gonna do it as Red Mage because, it'll give a very recent VOD of me with this glamour before this glamour is changed pretty much from bottom up completely when the patch drops in a month. A month in like 5 days? Something like that. A month and 8 days. Oh god, I'm so good at math, man. Oh. What am I going to do? I can't seem to find anyone up to the task. Oh, Arentel, you have the wonderful habit of appearing exactly when I need you. I've got a problem on my hands. Don't worry, the agency's doing just fine. The Earthenshire tours have been a runaway success, and if bookings stay steady, we'll soon recoup all the recent outlays. Well, that's actually the problem. The upper reaches of Kozama Uka are proving too popular. We're struggling to meet demand with our current number of tour guides. I want you to address the issue before the burden starts wearing the staff down. You aren't aware of anyone in need of work who knows the region like the back of their hand, are you? I actually don't know. A certain bandit gang comes to mind. I do not remember these guys at all. You don't mean the bandits who kidnapped the Dawn servant Wuklamat during the Rite of Succession. I'm sure they know the area well, but... Ah, hold on, I do remember hearing about a group of merchants who turned themselves in to the Landsguard not long after the Ascension ceremony. Apparently, they were later released on parole. I suppose if they're willing to atone for their crimes and genuinely wish to make a fresh start... I mean, like, yeah, give them another chance. Like, you know, people turn to banditry when, like, they have no other way to, like, provide for themselves. So it's like... My inner abacus is clacking away. It says we should speak with them at the very least. Reduce the strain on our staff, have former bandits give back to the communities they wronged. Yes, everyone stands to gain much from a potential arrangement. And they can provide for themselves in a legal manner. Would you be willing to help track down these bandits? The cause of almost all crime is just economic disadvantage. I knew I could count on you. Let's head to Too Many Fires and see what we can glean from the locals. Not all crime, just almost all crime. We are discounting crime that is caused by stupid laws, of course. Like... I'm actually not going to get on that topic. I've decided against it. We're gonna rewind just a little bit. Never mind. I would love to vent my opinions on this matter, but I won't. My goodness, it's you. You came here with the Dawn Servant Kona, seeking information about the bandit that waylaid me. Is there anything I can help you with this time? Ah, you wish to know what happened to Wakesa and his band of brigands after all that? Well, I gather they surrendered to the Landsguard. Even confessed the whereabouts of their stolen goods. That everything might be returned to the rightful owners. Sure enough, my merchandise made its way back to me. Apparently, some of their victims were so moved by the gesture that they petitioned the Landsguard for a more lenient sentence. Perhaps that's why Wuklamat granted them parole. I don't see how I don't know how they've fared thence, but I've heard nothing to suggest they've been causing trouble. Anyhow, you'll have to excuse me. I must meet with a client in Urquapacha. I do hope we meet again someday. You know what? It's only fair. Where is it? There it is. Ah, you seek news of the bandits let out on parole. Sneaky takers, the lot of them. They spread many bad feels in the village with their crimes. Cheese was not for them. Apparently, they were eye-catched not too so long ago. Mobby dreads to think about the inevitable recidivism. I hope they've had time to reflect on the wrongness of dirty taking and are ready to make an honest living. God damn it. We made it further than I thought we would. I'll be honest. That was like a whole hour. Anyway, let's log back in. Queue up Painted Foothills. There we go. Yeah. Man, I wonder why. Queue size, 160. It's Dynamis, you know? So it's only going to be like a 200 at most. I can't complain. I mean, I can't complain that, like, the fucking DDoSes are happening, but I can't complain that, like, I made it, like, almost an hour, so, yeah. And honestly, I was connected for about 45 minutes before stream started when I was working on that fucking 47 when I was working on the thumbnail, so it's fine. Oh. Like what do they get out of this, right? Are they just that annoyed about the copy pasta? Is it because of the glam changes? They're very upset that, you know, the fucking healers can wear tanking clothes now? Or now, as in, like, a month from now? Anyway. I'm gonna keep that open. I finished my dialogue with you, sir. Be gone. I'm very close to you. Has Mobby heard wind talk of bandits? I'm afraid not. These parts have been peaceful of late. Plenty of time to fish. Although I did eye-catch a scrawny fisher in the woods, not far from Deceiver's Mantle. A Tonawata with crazy hair as bright as jingly shine. I wonder who he was. Any news of our bandits? Avon, hello? So they turned themselves in, returned the stolen goods, and are now living in the wilds after being pardoned. What's more, it seems that they haven't fallen back into old habits. Let's make for the woods to the south. That's where the angler spotted Wewekesa, right? Hopefully, we'll run into him there. I must admit, I regret being so bold, but then again, what do I have to fear with you by my side? This is true. Starting to think I'm not cut out for fishing, and a man can't live off scrounging berries forever. What to do? Or turn to banditry is in order. You're that salted devil of a sellsword. Listen, I turned myself in, gave everything back what I stole, put that life behind me for good. What more could you possibly want from me? I want to give you a job. I have the scariest thing you'll ever see. It's a job application. Oh, I don't want anything from you. I have a problem. I came to personally ensure you get what you deserve. you came to get revenge for the kidnapping? Quite the opposite. We've come with a business proposal. My name's Pelupelu. But by the way, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'll get straight to the point. If you're serious about keeping to the straight and narrow and making amends for your past crimes, perhaps you'd like to work with us at the Terali Travel Agency. Work for you, I see your scheme, plotting to haul me off to the mines under the guise of employment, aren't you? Curse you, black arts. I ate dirt to survive after I escaped. I won't set foot inside another mine while there's still breath in my lungs. Wait. That was unexpected, and all that talk of mines, he seemed genuinely traumatized. Until I want you to find out what happened to him. Hopefully, that way we can clear up this misunderstanding and have a proper discussion. I hate to ask, but could you find Wakesa and bring him back here? He was awfully fast, but I doubt he could outrun you. He looks back. I'm gaining. No! Why are you running? This would be the perfect chance to bust out the Manderville Run mount. Where did Mans get off to? I got his ass cornered. Oh no! I don't care how fast they are. They'll never find me here. What? How? Unbelievable. I ran full pelt and yet, what's the use? Listen, I know what we did was inexcusable, but after it came to a head, we made an oath. An oath to never walk that path again. I won't bother another soul. I'll live out my days on the fringes. Please, just leave me be. You're saying this is all a misunderstanding. Well, it's clear there's no escaping you regardless. Fine, I'll hear you out. And put my fate in your hands. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Your associate says he wants to talk and I'm prepared to listen. I apologize if we frightened you. Wait, Wakesa, that wasn't our intention. Are you willing to tell us why you fled? Before we get to that, I want you to be honest. Do you really have a position for me that doesn't involve dragging me back to those godforsaken mines? In that case, I'll be honest with you, me and the rest of the gang first came here after fleeing Shaktaral. I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but Shaloni has been a hotbed of development since they found blue gold beneath the plains. Among the folk that got their hands on a drilling permit, there were more than a few looking to get rich quick. The kind of despicable bastards who don't think twice about sending kids into the tunnels, and we worked for the worst of the worst. Day after day, toiling and wasting away, till we died or escaped. We eventually realized, so we smuggled ourselves out in empty cerulean barrels. You can imagine what happened next. The withdrawal of a foreman tried to hunt us down, so we fled to Kozama Uka and took to banditry, as much to conceal our identities as to make ends meet. Right or wrong be damned, we would survive, but when we heard that Dawn's servant Wuklamat spoke of our plight during the Ascension ceremony, we decided to turn ourselves in. After a time, she showed us mercy and gave us a pardon. Even so, there's still that fear of what might happen if the foreman or his lackeys find where to find us. Thank you for sharing your story and telling me of your struggles you and your friends have experienced. Let me assure you that I do not wish to bind you with contracts or chains. I only offer the opportunity for you and your comrades to provide for yourselves, to make an honest living on your own terms. So, how about it? How does working at the trolley travel agency sound? That's more than any of us dared hope for. But what if word gets back to the foreman, if someone shows up to haul us away and we drag you into our affairs? I'll need to look into it to be sure, but I honestly don't think there's much chance of that happening. Thanks to the efforts of the Dust Watch and the Daybreakers, Shaloni's no longer the lawless place it used to be. Besides, I've been working on a plan to help reintegrate former outlaws into society. I'll be sounding out the wing of reflection to see if they can't support the initiative. I'm sure the new Dawn servants will give their blessing. Incredible, but you know, it feels like we should be begging you for the opportunity. We've burned so many bridges. I'll make damn sure you don't regret this. That said, what exactly are we supposed to do for you? About all we're good for is manual labor and pathfinding, though I do also know my way around Cookfire after feeding miners for all those years. This wasn't part of the plan per se, but I think your culinary skills might come in handy. A restaurant on site could be a real earner. As for your comrades, we've been looking for individuals with an intimate knowledge of upstream Kozama Uka, who are also capable of handling themselves. My plan was to employ them as guides, turned protectors after a thorough assessment and proper training. I'd say it's about time we got back and continue preparations. Wawakesa can meet us back at the agency in Dokpoga once he contacts his friends. We got there. Let's go. Hang on, can the skipper take me down? Not what I wanted. Never mind. I'll just ride my punity. Oh, I could just teleport. I don't feel like it. I'm gonna save the gill. I don't care. Oh no, I'm getting hungry. Welcome back, Arntel. I reached out to the Wing of Reflection, and it was just as I thought. It seems Wawacase's fears were unfounded. The situation in the Cerulean field has changed dramatically in the past few years. Groups like the Daybreakers have put an end to the practice of child labor, and the Dust Watch have all but stamped out the violent duels that used to be so common. As for the company you and your comrades worked for, they have long since been shut down by the Daybreakers. For its part, the Wing of Reflection is committed to the restoration and preservation of law and order in Shaloni, and new and unscrupulous drilling operations are swiftly dealt with. You needn't worry about anyone coming after you. Thank the heavens for that. In that case, we can commit to doing our part and repaying our debts. We've decided to set aside some of our earnings and repay folk for all the hurt we caused, you see. Wonderful. Simply wonderful. It's a pleasure to have you on board. Wahoo! Thanks to the efforts of Pelupelu and her special advisor, Wawakesa and his comrades have agreed to join the Torali Travel Agency. With this influx of new recruits, the shortage of staff that had threatened to curtail expansion into Earthenshire has been resolved. While his former crewmates begin their training as guides, Wawakesa himself will be devising a menu of delicious local dishes as head chef of the agency's brand new eatery. Be sure to assist him and his crew of former brigands on their road to rehabilitation. Me. Your reputation up. What new shit can I get? Hello, Bloom. Ooh, backpack. Cool. I don't think that's new. I don't think that's new either. That's cool. Yeah, sure, why not? Any dialogue? No? Okay. Any dialogue? Gotta say, the local cuisine is actually quite good. I want to try some of that stuff over there next. Wawakesa, what's up, man? Adventurer, I can't quite believe everything that's happened. Thank you. After all those years in the mines serving up grub, I'm used to caring for large groups. I won't let you or Pelupelu down. That's for damn sure. Based. Alright. Next stop is going to be on Botanist over in Mamool to do the Mamool Ja. And then it's the Yok Huy. And then I'm probably gonna end stream because I am hungry. Where's my funny branch bearer? Ooh, here it is. What's up, man? Just look at our crop stores, Arntel. Mamool now has the choice when it comes to food. We never could have seen this day if not for your help. But we can still do better. More can flourish yet, I just know it. As passionate as always, I see. Well, I wish I could agree with you. I'm afraid we may be reaching the extent of our crop variation. Currently, this forest restricts us in two ways. One, the meteorite's unique aether, and two, a distinct lack of natural sunlight. Crops that can grow under both these conditions are unfortunately limited. Removing one of these restrictions could certainly increase our options, assuming such a feat were possible, of course. We've considered how to get sunlight in before, but it's not as easy as felling a tree or two. What about artificial sunlight? If only we could reference another locale that cultivates flora in near total darkness. Like Labyrinthos? Or Heritage Mound. It's true that Labyrinthos was built underground, but the sheer amount of resources required for its construction dwarfs what we can afford to do here. Perhaps there's another place we can use as reference. That's right, when I was in Tural, Tuliyolal, I heard about what happened in Yasulani. They say the dome is rife with lightning energies, and an endless night lingers over the land. Fascinating, and yet they successfully farm there. You pay his halo, you say. I have a permit to visit Shaktaral. Why don't we go and see it for ourselves? I also possess the requisite permissions, so I can join you. If we complete the data, if we compare the data of this forest to that of Yupei's halo, we may find a clue relevant to our current conundrum. It'll be a long journey, so we haven't a moment to lose. Lead the way, Arentel. Oh shit, free teleport. Thank you for escorting us. Hang on. To think the sun once shone so brightly here. It's a different sort of darkness than that of the Jatika heartland. With lightning aspected aether this dense in the atmosphere, it's little wonder that thick thunderclouds obscure the sky as they do. I could probably stand in awe of this place all night, but we have a duty to fulfill. We need to ask the residents here about their farming techniques. We're ready when you are, so just lead the way. Thank you for escorting us. Let's have a look around. I mean, I could break out the car, but man, that'd be so cool. They'll never do it, probably because they like technically can't. But it'd be like really neat if you pull out a mount with like requisite seats, if it would like randomly assign followers to like pillions. Aw, man, what a shame. So these towers act as an artificial sun for their plants. Far smaller than what we have in Labyrinthos, but no less effective for the growth of crops. Well, as you can see, we grow our crops in circles at Yupei's halo. The reason is simple. The contraption converts lightning-aspected energy to create an ideal environment for our crops, from humidity and lightning to temperature and soil quality. Our little farm has caught your fancy, I can hardly blame you. Keeping crops alive in environs such as these is no small feat, if I do say so myself. We use electrope equipment to supply our plants with the nutrients and light they require. The key to good gardening is understanding the unique needs of each species, after all. These folk have worked hard to achieve the impossible. I'm all the more inspired to do the same. That said, we'll be nothing but a bother if we stand around here. Let's regroup and discuss our next steps. I thought I'd learn a decent amount about the outside world after leaving Mamook, but I still don't know the half of it, do I? Thanks for guiding us here. This trip was well worth it. Indeed, we can neither develop such infrastructure overnight, nor can we discount the differences between heritage found and the Jatika heartland. However, the knowledge that aspected aether might be converted into something equivalent to natural light is invaluable. We may not possess this electrope, but perhaps magics can achieve a similar effect. The Bonewa are peerless when it comes to magic. Let's head back and ask Mamool Ja. He's probably missing us about now anyway. If we could truly create our artificial sunlight, the possibilities. Hold on a moment, while I fetch Mamool Ja. Mamool Ja explained your idea. If you're looking to achieve the impossible with magics, shouldn't you speak with our mightiest practitioner instead? You don't mean the Autarch. I'm different now, and he's different now, and he wants the best for this granary. Same as anyone. I'm sure he'd help if you asked. But I left. Surely I'm little more than a traitor in his eyes. Then you'll just have to win him over. Oh, that's the wrong box. Fuck. Hang on. You're right. This is for Gok Golma, for Mamook. Then, if your mind is made up, shall we request an audience? Masterful work. Autarch. Just the other day, my wife brought me a sample from your harvest. I could hardly believe how flavorful it was. Thank you. It is an honor to receive such kind words. I hear that you require a Bonewa's expertise. Yes, we were hoping to create light here with magic, so we can grow an even wider variety of crops. We made a journey to Yasulani by Arantel's guidance and studied the agricultural techniques of heritage found. The harsh climate there is constantly obscured by dark clouds, yet by way of special devices, the farmers create artificial sunlight enough to maintain healthy beds for crops. Instead of devices, we thought Bonewa magics might achieve something similar. You think it's possible, Autarch? Weaving illusions into reality is indeed possible for us, but you require more than simple light, no? It is as you say, the light in question must deliver properties necessary for our plant's nutrition and at appropriate levels. I'm happy to explain in detail if you believe such a feat can be achieved. It can. The magics will require eligible vessels, however, crafted from material complete with energy. Understood. We'll procure whatever you need. He's cooperating. The autarch really has changed. Anyway, we need to gather materials for those vessels. The autarch said rich in energy, so I know just the thing. Bark from trees of living light in Cenote Jayunja. You can't get more concentrated energy than that. This all comes down to you, Arentel. Bring us what we need for the vessels, and we'll take care of the rest. I think it's so interesting that the Pelupelu one, like, never has you fight anything. Which no, because the second one, or the second and first one did. You had to, like, defend them when they went into that cave. And in fairness, with the themes, it's seemingly trying to appeal to. Combat really isn't the sensical thing to include. Yoink. I hate you. Fuck you. Now we have fucking extra bullshit in my inventory. Be gone. Did you find what we need for the vessels? Oh, good, thank you. Don't mind me, just hydrating. Perfect. This is good. Concentrated energy. I'll bring it to the autarch and we'll get started right away. Man, I hope those fucking mages ain't gotta do that shit, like, 24/7. We'll do it in shifts, I guess. Like, fuck. Yo, they got watermelons! Oh. Oh. Such remarkable magics. These lights illuminate our granary as though it were midday. And you may have noticed Gakgoma's latest edition. I don't know how Mamool Ja and the others found time to prepare a kitchen, but it makes readying our yields for consumption easier than ever. Admiring the kitchen, are you? One day it'll make some legendary dishes, even one to rival Jiberk Pibil. An admirable dream. With passion like yours, I'm certain it shall come true. If we can make a meal, we can share a meal, just like Mamool Ja did on that battlefield to an endless war. creating a dish that brings our Ikbarak's neighbors to the table again. This is my next hope for Gakgoma. I hope we become living proof that Mamool has changed for the better. As the granary flourishes, so too do Mamool Ja's dreams for the future of his homeland. Whether Mamool will prove herself capable of restoring relations with the people of Ikbarak, however, remains to be seen. I've achieved honor and there's a legendary note up. I don't care, but it exists. What's the new thing? Leafkin. I'll take that. Interesting. It's just a little guy. Adorable. Right. And next stop, we have the Yok Huy. Where is it? Where was it? Oh. What level are you? 91? 91? No, they wouldn't be here if they were waiting on, Is that? Hang on. Yeah, no, he's, 93. Yeah. Upon your work thus far has been greatly appreciated, Arentel. Each time I look upon our progress, I'm impressed anew at everyone's diligence. In fact, we have already moved on to our next step, building the stonemason's workshop. It will be essential to restoring the Breathless Altar to its former grandeur. Each stone that was swept away must be made again, in the traditional Yok Huy fashion, no less. Such is the way for all our ceremonial spaces. And since transporting such stone from Warlord's Echo would only result in broken bricks and sore backs, the workshop will be our most vital project yet. I've entrusted its construction to a skilled mason named Gizorhor, and work was proceeding apace until a certain incident occurred. I have yet to hear the details, but it seems progress has stalled. I mean to go and speak with him, and would be grateful if you could accompany me. It might be easier to solve whatever problem awaits us if we tackle it together. I don't think I have a mount for this. You know what? Fuck it. I paid for it. I should use it. No, this is too much. I must leave. Here we are, Arentel. This is Gizorhor. And, as you can see, he is distraught. My words do not seem to reach him. I know not what has happened, only that he is intent on leaving. Perhaps a softer voice than mine might soothe his fright. Might you give it a try, Arentel? Apologies for ignoring you before. I was panicked and barely aware of my surroundings. I should probably explain why. While I was going about my tasks for the day, I caught sight of one of the snow spirits. It pranced about playfully and approached, then pelted me with ice magic. I managed to flee before I was impaled by a frozen spear, but now that I have seen the extent of their wrath, I cannot risk my life working here. I warned everyone to be wary of the spirits, but it seems I failed to convey just how dangerous they can be. While I understand Girzorhor's fear, this attack only emphasizes how crucial it is for us to complete restoration of the altar, and for that we need his expertise. Arntel, would you come with me to Warlord's Echo to help convince our Mason to return? There must be some way to sway him. Man, I'm really interested to see what the new jobs are going to be. Or new job. Because, like, there's no way that they keep on with 2 jobs every expansion forever. Like, at some point it's gotta drop down to 1. Like, they can't not do it because, like, it's a big selling point. But at some point they're gonna have to drop the number down. I still want my reverse red mage job though. Primarily melee, or primarily melee builds up for a ranged. Whereas like red mage is primarily ranged, builds up for a melee. I tried reasoning with him, but he seems set on staying put. Perhaps you can make him see how crucial his work he is to our work. Oh, I remember you. Apologies, but if you mean to convince me to climb back up that mountain, I must refuse. Remember the importance of our work. All of Urquapacha depends on it. All of Urquapacha. I know the altar and ceremony are meant to appease the spirits, but I understand now. If I was taken by surprise so easily, others might be as well. That is what we work for, do we not? To restore peace to Urquapacha? Yes, I understand your point. Yet the very memory of that terrible moment sends a chill down my spine that keeps my legs firmly planted here. I understand your feelings, Girzorhor. I feel them too. Yet Dartorgor was courageous in the face of all that, and so must we be. Dartorgor. Ah, the one who lived in the mountains before the avalanche. Yes, she once told me that the spirits had been there since ancient times, and wrought calamity upon any who dared to encroach upon their home. When our forebears settled there, they were battered by avalanches and snowstorms until they performed the pact for the first time. Ever since, the ritual and the altar it is performed upon served as a foundation for a peaceful coexistence with the spirits. Dartorgor bore that responsibility alone for many years, keeping disaster at bay, yet she is with us no longer, and someone must follow in her footsteps. I must follow. You take on this burden, ever knowing full well the danger it poses. Dartorgor would have wanted it this way. When she would descend from her home, she would stay with me. I treasure each and every one of those memories. You really must see how Ryokor Terte and the other spirits frolic during the ritual. You'd never think that they could just as easily bury us all under a hail of snow. The pact is all that protects us from that fate, and soon I shall be its sole inheritor. Although I am young still, perhaps it is time to begin looking for a pupil. Oh, I know, it could be you, Farafar. I jest. That was our final conversation. On the way back, she suffered that terrible accident. Had we kept the memory of the pact alive and Warlord's Echo, had we maintained the roads leading to and from the altar, then Dartorgor may still be with us. Her loss was a tragedy of indifference. Yet the memory of her devotion gives me courage, that in the presence of Arntel, who so bravely stood before Valigarmanda. Arntel? That Arntel? I'm a man of many vocations. You traveled from across the salt and risked life and limb for Tural. And if you can do that for us, I should not balk at doing the same. But I am no fighter. If the spirits were to attack again, what would I do? Flee to warmth. You'll be safe there. That indeed may be the wisest course of action. The spirits would be loath to enter a warm room, and their will may falter upon seeing so many Yok Huy gathered together. I think I can manage with that. Very well. I shall return to the hands. Yet before I do, I must confess something. I was so flustered during my flight from the spirits, I dropped my most important tools. They are lost to the snows now, and I fear I cannot work without them. Well, you can see to that, right? Surely a set of stonemason's tools, chisels, and the like, crafted by your hands, will serve as a fine replacement for what Gizorhor lost. I shall provide you with all the materials you need. I would be in your debt, Arndel. Once you've finished, please bring the tools to me. I will get back to work as soon as I can. Right. Let's go. Boom. 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 There we go. I have plenty of spare materials with me. If you run out, simply let me know. What do you have there? Might I have a closer look? I carry around a portable forge on me at all times for moments exactly like this. Aha! This is masterful work indeed. Even better than what I had before, in fact. Farah, I was right to put her trust in you, and I will follow suit. Now I should make good on my promise and get back to it. The workshop I build shall be worthy of these splendid tools. Nothing is more encouraging than seeing an artisan so eager to test his new equipment. Thank you, Arendelle. I must return to shelter to attend to my own work, but please stop by for a chat whenever you have a free moment. Nope. There we go. I am overjoyed Gizorhor has returned. His absence would have been sorely felt. In fact, I'm beginning to think his ordeal was a blessing in disguise, for he works with even more zeal than before. I was even able to tell a story of my time with Dartorgor, and in doing so gave her the chance to lend her strength to the present. Nothing could make me happier. Now that we can make traditional stonework here, we can use it in the buildings we repair as well. And with each brick laid, we draw one step closer to completion. The patterns you see are among the oldest used by our people. Many depict scenes of us living side by side with the snow spirits, and making them has been quite the educational experience. I only hope that Dartorgor is proud to see the progress we have made. I shall continue to work and learn for Dartorgor's sake. I encourage you to do the same, Arentel. Construction of Mason's work has been completed, allowing for the creation of traditional Yok Huy stonework. Bum, 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 bum. Trusted. Wahoo. New items. What have we got? Anything cool? I don't... Actually, it's not a bad... It isn't a bad track. Anyway, that's all I wanted to get done. I really don't have anything else to do. If I weren't so hungry, I probably would do a little bit of Valheim, but I want to make some food, and I vehemently don't want to eat on stream. So, alas, I shall be ending here. Didn't quite hit 2 hours, which is a little unfortunate, but So, I want to thank anyone who stopped by who did. Really appreciate anyone who gives me the time of day. I very well may be back tomorrow. If I am, it will probably be to stream... Sage? Really? I've burned through that many. Yeah, probably Sage. Maybe Samurai? I really want to do Samurai. Samurai shouldn't be a super long one. Samurai is one of the better job quests, like, in the entire game. So... I don't think I have any bad ones left on there. Or I can do Thaumaturge. It's probably gonna be Sage. Anyway, we'll see. I may not stream tomorrow, honestly. But, it depends on if the mood takes me, which it may, or it may not. But, if I can fold my list again... There we go. I want to thank anyone who's stopping by. Really appreciate anyone who gives me the time of day. Once again. And until I stream again, have a good one all.